our biggest issue in our military, I believe right now is morale, recruiting, retention. And so there's been a lot of like pressure on the military for between all this political stuff. Moving forward in 2025, what would you say to those troops that have been just discouraged, frustrated with their military service and just lacking that motivation with a brand new beginning?
Yeah, I've always looked at it. I worked for a bunch of different presidents just like you did. I worked for George H.W. Bush, and then I worked for Clinton, and then I worked for Bush, and then I worked for Obama. And so I worked for a lot of different presidents. And then more important, and you know this from being in the military, you're going to get a new commanding officer every 2 years. You're going to get a new platoon commander every 2 years. Your leadership's going to change. I never focused very much on my leadership and what their attitude was. I focused on what my attitude was and what my attitude was going to be with my guys. Mm-hmm. And so to me, regardless of what's going on in the world, what's going on politically, we're going to have an awesome time. We're going to train really hard. We're going to be totally prepared, and we're going to be ready to rock and roll when the call comes. I found myself able to distinguish or discriminate between like things that were happening up the chain of command in the political world and what me, my platoon, my squad, my task unit, my training detachment, what we were doing.
Yeah.
And so I think it's good to be that buffer for your troops because you know what you need to do. You know what you need to do to get ready. And I'll tell you what, do you need money to train? Sure, you need some. I can promise you, if you come to me with a platoon, an infantry platoon, and you bring no money and you bring fake weapons. Actually, don't even bring weapons, bring sticks.
Yeah, broomsticks. Yeah.
You bring broomsticks and I'll take you out on the beach and we'll get training and I will put pressure on your junior officers and your junior NCOs that will prepare them for combat with nothing. With nothing. We can do that every day as good leaders. And so that's what I would focus on. I would focus on getting you and your troops, getting yourself personally. If you're a shooter, what can you do to be ready? If you're a leader, what can you do to be ready? And what can you do to get your troops ready for when the call comes?
What about so let's say you had a opportunity to speak to the new SecDef, which by the time this comes out, maybe it's still Pete Hegseth. I hope it is. Pete's goal is to improve the morale of the troops, to improve recruitment and really make sure that we keep the retention that our military needs. What advice would you have for a guy like that taking on a big responsibility?
Yeah, this is something that you and I discussed when you were on my podcast recently, which is you just have to make the military the military.
Yeah. Right?
As I told you when I was a kid, what I wanted to do when I grew up, I wanted to be a commando. And all you needed to show me was where do I need to sign to be a commando? You didn't need to recruit me other than say, hey, here's where you need to go. Here's what you need to have ready. Here's how you need to be prepared. And you come over here, sign this piece of paper, and you can be a commando. There are hundreds of thousands of people that want to do that. Hundreds and thousands of people that want to do that. There's something in some people that's what they want to do. And it's not a small number of people.
No.
It's a good amount of people that want to serve their country and they want that job. And by the way, if they don't want to be a commando, there's some people that really want to be air traffic controller. There's some people that really want to be a diesel mechanic. There's some people that really want to be an artilleryman. There's some people that really want to be a tanker. There's some people that really want to be in aviation. There are people like that. So that's what the military should be focused on. All those different components, whether you're a supply person, a logistics person, whether you're an administrative person and you're in the military, we need you and we got a job for you and you can serve this greater purpose. And I think if they spread that message, you're going to get the people that you need.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree. I mean, our nation, you and I get the privilege to travel around and see our nation, talk to people. We don't live in a silo. And as I travel around the country, this country is still full, coast to coast, of young American patriots that want to serve our nation. And It blows me away that through all the politics, through all the divide, there's still young men and women that are just itching to raise their hand and serve. I get messages from all the time. I know you do too.
Yep. So I think that if they focus on that, if they focus on it, and I've heard Pete talk about the military should be focused on winning wars. Yep, that's it. Exactly.
Yep.
That's what the military should be focused on. That's what it's literally for.
That's what its job is.
So let's focus on that and don't worry about the other stuff. Let the politicians be politicians, and the military can focus on fighting and winning wars, which is where they should be focused.
Guys, I'm a lifelong athlete. I've tried all kind of things, from every different diet, from all different supplements, tons of different things to make my body as healthy and as functional as possible. I heard about BioPro years ago from jiu-jitsu athletes, from UFC fighters, and they're all friends of mine who I trust that were telling me, you have to try a BioPro, and I did. I experienced a tremendous result, mostly in my sleep, to where I was sleeping 4 or 5 hours a night, to where I immediately went to sleeping 9 hours a night. BioPro has helped my recovery, my mental focus. I am a believer. I love it, or I would not be promoting it. If you're interested, go to bioproteintech.com and get yours today.